You are listening to Bedtime Dreamy Tales. Subscribe to our channel for new story. Story title: The Three Princesses of Whiteland. Once upon a time, in a quaint village by the sea, there lived a humble fisherman named Torben and his wife, Ingrid. Their small cottage was nestled close to a grand palace, and every day, Torben sailed out to the ocean to catch fish for the king's table. He was known for his skill and always returned with a bountiful catch, ensuring the royal banquet was always filled with the freshest fish. One fateful day, however, no matter how hard Torben tried, he could not catch a single fish. The sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the calm sea, and Torben felt a deep sense of despair. Just as he was about to give up, a strange and magical thing happened. A head emerged from the water, its eyes gleaming with an otherworldly light. "If I may have what your wife bears under her girdle, you shall catch fish enough," said the head in a voice that seemed to echo from the depths of the ocean. Torben, desperate and unaware that his wife was expecting a child, agreed to the strange request without hesitation. Instantly, his nets filled with fish of all kinds, shimmering silver in the dying light of the day. Torben returned home triumphant, but when he told Ingrid of his encounter and the promise he had made, she wept bitterly. "Oh, Torben," she cried, "you have promised away our unborn child. I bear a babe under my girdle." News of Ingrid's distress quickly spread throughout the village and soon reached the palace. The king, known for his kindness and wisdom, sent word that he would protect the child and do everything in his power to save it. The months passed, and when the time came, Ingrid gave birth to a healthy boy. True to his word, the king took the child, naming him Olaf, and raised him in the palace as his own son. Olaf grew up amidst the splendor of the palace, loved by all and trained in the ways of both royalty and the sea. He often thought of his parents and the simple life they led, and he longed to join his father on one of his fishing trips. One day, as Olaf reached the age of manhood, he begged the king for permission to go fishing with his father. The king hesitated, fearing for the boy's safety, but Olaf's determination eventually won him over. Early one morning, Olaf set out with his father. The sea was calm and the sky was clear, promising a perfect day for fishing. They spent the entire day on the sea, laughing and working together, and Olaf felt a deep connection to his roots. As the sun began to set, they prepared to return home. But as Olaf stepped back into the boat to retrieve his forgotten handkerchief, something strange happened. The boat began to move on its own, speeding away from the shore with Olaf aboard. Torben shouted in alarm, but there was nothing he could do. The boat carried Olaf far across the sea, through the night and into the unknown. By dawn, the boat had reached a distant shore, a land unlike any Olaf had ever seen. As he stepped onto the sandy beach, he felt a sense of wonder and adventure. "Where am I?" Olaf wondered aloud as he walked along the shore. After a while, he encountered an old man with a long white beard, dressed in simple robes that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. "What is this place?" Olaf asked. "This is Whiteland," the old man replied, his eyes twinkling with wisdom. "I am the guardian of the shore. You have been brought here for a reason, young prince." Olaf told the guardian his tale, and the old man nodded thoughtfully. "You will soon meet three princesses buried in the earth up to their necks. The first two will plead for your help, but you must ignore them. Go to the third princess and do as she asks. Only then will you find your true destiny." With the guardian's advice ringing in his ears, Olaf set off. He soon came upon a clearing where three beautiful princesses were buried up to their necks in the earth. The first princess, her golden hair gleaming in the sunlight, called out to him, "Please, kind sir, help me. I am in such distress." But Olaf, remembering the guardian's words, walked past her. The second princess, with eyes as blue as the ocean, also pleaded for his assistance. "Please, brave prince, save me from this fate." Olaf steeled his heart and walked past her as well. Finally, he reached the third princess, whose beauty was like the dawn of a new day. "If you do what I ask," she said with a gentle yet firm voice, "you may choose any of us as your bride." Olaf agreed, and the princess explained their plight. "Three trolls have imprisoned us here. To free us, you must enter the castle and endure a night of whipping from each troll. Use the flask of ointment to heal yourself and the sword to defeat the trolls." Olaf, determined to rescue the princesses, followed her instructions. That night, a troll with 3 heads and 3 rods came to whip him. Olaf endured the pain, used the ointment to heal, and then killed the troll with the sword. The next morning, the princesses were freed up to their waists. The following night, a 6-headed troll whipped Olaf even more fiercely. But again, Olaf healed himself and killed the troll. The princesses were now freed up to their knees. On the 3rd night, a 9-headed troll whipped Olaf so severely that he fainted. The troll, thinking Olaf dead, threw him against the wall, spilling the ointment and healing Olaf completely. Revived, Olaf killed the troll, freeing the princesses entirely. With the trolls defeated, the youngest princess, whom Olaf had chosen, took him by the hand and led him to their castle. They celebrated their victory with a grand feast, and Olaf felt a sense of peace and belonging he had never known before. Days turned into weeks, and Olaf and the princess fell deeply in love. They married in a ceremony filled with joy and hope, and Olaf became the Prince of Whiteland. Yet, as time passed, Olaf began to long for his homeland. He missed his parents and wished to see them again. The princess, though saddened by his desire to leave, understood his longing. "If you must go," she said, "promise me one thing. Do only what your father advises and not what your mother wishes." Olaf promised, and the princess gave him a magical ring with 2 wishes. With a heavy heart, he used the first wish to return home. Olaf's parents were overjoyed to see their son, who had grown into a fine young man. They marveled at his stories of adventure and the beautiful princess he had married. Days passed, and Olaf's mother, proud of her son, urged him to visit the king to show his newfound splendor. His father, wary of the king's envy, advised against it, but his mother's pleas were persistent, and eventually, Olaf agreed to go. When Olaf arrived at the palace, he was more magnificent than the king himself. Envious, the king remarked, "Your queen may not be as beautiful as mine." Olaf, proud of his wife, wished her to appear. She appeared, but sorrow filled her eyes. "Why did you not heed my warning?" she said. "Now I must return to Whiteland, and you have used both your wishes." With a heavy heart, she tied a ring in his hair and disappeared. Heartbroken, Olaf resolved to find Whiteland and bring back his beloved. He wandered for days, asking everyone he met if they knew the way to Whiteland. His journey took him through forests and over mountains until he came to a high hill where he met a man who was lord over all the beasts of the wood. The man listened to Olaf's tale and said, "I do not know where Whiteland is, but I will ask my beasts." He blew his horn, and all the beasts of the forest gathered around. He asked them, but none knew where Whiteland lay. The man then gave Olaf a pair of snowshoes. "These will carry you to my brother, who is lord over all the birds of the air. Ask him." Olaf thanked the man and set off with the snowshoes. After a long journey, he reached the home of the bird lord. He turned the shoes as instructed, and they flew back to their owner. The bird lord summoned all the birds with a blast of his horn, but none knew where Whiteland was. Finally, an old eagle, which had been away for 10 years, arrived, but knew nothing. The bird lord then gave Olaf another pair of snowshoes. "These will take you to my brother, who is lord of all the fish in the sea. Ask him." Olaf set off again, and after another long journey, he reached the fish lord. He turned the shoes, and they flew back. The fish lord called all the fish, but none knew of Whiteland. At last, an old pike arrived, saying he had been the cook in Whiteland for 10 years and knew the way. "But hurry," the pike said, "for the queen of Whiteland is to wed another tomorrow." The fish lord advised Olaf to seek out 3 brothers, fighting over a magical hat, cloak, and boots. These items could make him invisible and transport him anywhere. Olaf found the brothers and cleverly tricked them into letting him try the items. Once he had them, he wished himself to Whiteland. Arriving just in time, Olaf found the castle bustling with preparations for the wedding. He took his stand on the stairs, waiting. As the north wind had planned, it stormed the castle, shaking the walls. The prince who was to marry the queen came out to see what was happening. Olaf seized him and threw him out, where the north wind carried him away. Entering the castle, Olaf found his queen, who at first did not recognize him due to his haggard appearance. But when he showed her the ring tied in his hair, she embraced him with joy. Their love had triumphed over all obstacles, and they held their rightful wedding, celebrated with great splendor. Olaf and his queen ruled Whiteland with wisdom and kindness, and their story of adventure and love was told for generations, inspiring all who heard it. And so they lived happily ever after, their hearts and kingdom united in joy and peace. If you like this story, please give this video a like. For more stories, go to bedtimedreamytales.com. See you in the next story.